The energy sector impacts our daily lives as it literally fuels our economy. No wonder then the political parties talk about slashing electricity bill or petrol and diesel costs, particularly during the time of election season. The impact it has on our lives can also be seen in our cinemas. We have had several films that showcase incidents like kidnapping of technicians of oil fields or working at a oil field or death of coal miners. Films have also been made on inflated electricity bills or generating electricity. In this special Energonomics episode, our 10th episode, we take a look at how films show the shift in this sector. A group of researchers from University of Cambridge took a very different approach in understanding the use of energy in households. In a paper published in 2020 called Films as Sources of Everyday Life and Energy Use, a Case of Indian Cinema, they used 19 Indian feature films to document household energy and appliances use. The films that were picked up to study were belonging to 70s and 90s and specifically to those living in chawls. Films such as Basu Chatterjee's Piyar Ka Ghar, Sai Paranjbei's Katha, Ram Gopal Verma's Satya, or more recently Zoya Akhtar's Gully Boy were used for understanding the energy trends in households. Films have also been made on some critical issues like the movie of 70s, Kala Patthar, which was a multi-starrer starring Amitabh Bachchan, Shashi Kapoor, Shatrughan Sinha, which was based on a real story, an incident that happened in a coal mine in Dhanbad. I spoke to the co-author of this study, Meena Sunika Blanc, on what was the criteria of picking up these films and what was the basis. And this is what she said.
I usually look at energy from the demand side. So it's basically a basic necessity at home, also a question of comfort, like what is energy used for and why at home? So what is the everyday life like? And I guess the baseline behind the study was that if we look at films, then they very often capture the everyday life. That's the kind of baseline that allows the drama to grow and burst. So our assumption is that if we look at this baseline, like what do people do at home? How do they use energy? It's also kind of unused archive of everyday life at home, also in the past. In our study, we analyzed 19 Indian films. We decided to focus on the building typology of chawls in Mumbai, because that's a very interesting, also quite threatened building type that's now being demolished. So we had a look at the wider pool of films together with Indian colleagues. In the end, we settled up to the 19. Amongst them were Code, 15 August, Sairat. We then analyzed the film with keywords, we coded them, and we also were interested in what kind of electric appliances got screen time and how much. Also, like where different domestic practices were performed, in which space, like whether it was the big courtyard, common courtyard in Chol, or in the interior tenements. And we also included some of the newer films, even though they did not take place in Chols, but also in Mumbai, like the Gully Boy, which plays in the SRA housing. So that was the process, basically.
The paper said predicting the future of energy demand lies in understanding the sources of energy in everyday life's demand consumption. Yet, approaches to effectively capture everyday life in domestic environments are a blind spot in current energy research. So, how did the study help?
I think the appliances have increased. Also, the television is very dominant in a lot of scenes. It's almost like equivalent to what used to be fire or what people gather around. So the entertainment appliances have increased. The same thing with ventilation, of course, like air conditioning in the latest part as well. So I think that is very clear that the number of appliances and how much screen time they have, that has increased.
Does pricing play a role in understanding the energy trend? Particularly, we see so during the election times as how the prices go or are how the prices manipulated.
There are a lot of films that are very able to capture that everyday life at home, which is very important for how we use energy, what the prospects are. Of course, there's also another genre of film, which is almost like blockbusters, where the energy is actually at the heart of the conflict. So this could be anything from Mad Max to Dune, where you have a spice from the other planets. Even the new Martin Scorsese film, The Killers of the Flower Moon, that's also very much, even though it focuses on fossil fuels and oils, energy is very much at the core of that. And this, what I would expect, will increase in the future, like because of the climate emergency, when we are transitioning from fossil fuels to green sources, that the cinema will react to that as well. So both how we use energy, but also where the energy comes from and how confrontational it can potentially be.
My detailed conversation with Meena is available in the links given in the description below. Clearly, energy is an important component in our daily life. But understanding this complicated and complex sector is not easy. That is why we try to decode it through Energonomics. Do let us know what you feel about it, your suggestions on the issues which you want us to discuss in future.